or no, you're put them that they come out every other day or something. You know what I'm saying? That you
Well,
have.
you know who's coming? My wife. Wait. Well, when women actually squirt, but that's kind of the same thing. Well, Cloud9 got first, 100 Thieves got third, EG looked like shit, and Team Liquid missed playoffs. And TSM missed playoffs for the second spring split in a row. Yep, there's a lot to talk about today. And yeah, Cloud9's about to fist the whole league. I love being on top. Makes me feel so good inside.
Hopefully.
What is going on, everybody? This is the Cloud9 podcast, season 7, episode 11. So you guys are probably wondering, why did we not do an episode for the LEC last week? It's because I was actually very, very busy last week. Good news, but it was something that I had to get this thing done by this deadline. So I did it that last week. That way, if I did it this week, I'd be really, really screwed. So yeah, last week I was so busy, but no, this week we're going to bring back the LEC Cloud9 podcast, and we're gonna have it on Tuesday this week. It's usually supposed to be Wednesday, but it could be flexed between Tuesday or Wednesday. It doesn't really matter, honestly. I watched most of the games already. I have 3 more games to go through, and then yeah, I'm all caught up with NA. I'm gonna do my LCS 2023 Spring Split Week 8 recap very soon. I'm gonna drop that. The reason why I had to drop that weekly recap for you guys last week earlier was because we had our super week last week. So yeah, that's pretty much the reason why. And yeah, the regular season is over. We now are officially into the playoffs. So yeah, let me go on Twitch and let me actually, fix this up on the Twitch side. If you guys do want to watch on Twitch, you can go to the link in the description box below, twitch.tv/C9MasterSwagKing. If you want to watch on Twitch, whenever we do these on Sunday at 5 or 5:30 p.m. PST, literally whenever I get off work. All right, so let me get this ready. And what's going on with you, man? How you feeling?
Dude, I got second place at local today. That shit was crazy.
Holy shit!
Literally
what did you play?
Scared Claw, but I play like a power version where Lily goes second and blow out. Oh my god. Only lost once, and that was to the guy who came in first place. Fucking Runic is. I seen that play as like Cashtira. Cashtira just gets blown out by it. It's just so impressive. But dude, oh my god, it was a great weekend, man. Fucking Knicks beat Denver Nuggets. UConn made it to the second round. 100 Thieves gets third place. Fucking Fnatic is still trash.
What's up, Michael? How you doing, man?
Overall, oh my god, second, dude, this is the highest I've been at that locals since 2019. And
really,
and only last time I got first, but it was a 3-way tie because we couldn't face each other because we ran out of time. That's why we just split a box and then went for it. We split Chaos Impact. I didn't pull none of the secrets that were pulled are trash. That's why we were like, fuck it, whatever. But a lot of times I don't even care about the prize. I usually just when I know my deck could work, I just gotta fix the build. That's all I care about. Like in my opinion, like in a sense. But yeah, that oh my god, watching these freaking games were nuts. Up to
there
one.
Was oh my goodness. I want to say that watching a lot of these games, because sometimes we'll just chill and stream around and just watch them together, and just watching these teams just run it down is so amusing yet so just heartbreaking too, because they're about to get ass fucked by any other better team. It's just so disgusting. But this is the good thing. There's always a bright side to everything. There's always a bright side. We don't have to watch Dignitas or IMT play any more games for the next 3 months, essentially.
Yeah.
All right, make sure you guys are watching.
Smash
the like button.
No Team Liquid underachieving.
Right.
Oh, Jesus Christ, that was.
Get 5 likes. I smashed
Oh,
the like
y-
button.
yeah.
Okay. I smashed Chaz's girlfriend.
You can have her at this point, man. You can take her.
I smashed Chaz's wife.
I don't got no wife.
I smashed it and Chaz's wife. There we go. That's how we do it. All right. Let me put the poll up, and then let me sign out of my second account and go back
I
to my
put
main
the poll
account.
into Lennon last night.
That's what I did too. Wait a minute, that was you?
Yeah, I was the one that
Are you
I
putting
came
a poll
out.
into each other?
No, I put the poll into Lennon, and then I walked out, and then you saw me, and then you give me a high five. Just didn't realize what I just did.
So that was in a dark alley. I was running.
That thought she was calling me Poppy.
She was calling me Papacito Mochino.
She ain't. I mean, she was speaking tongue with me, nigga. She was over there.
Her tongue was dancing in my mouth. What are you talking about?
Her tongue was dancing on my dick.
Is that what that mouth do?
Yeah, that's what her mouth did.
Oh god. You know what I was doing last night? I was watching older South, like you know how they have the compilations of best of characters on YouTube?
Yeah.
So I went best of Eric Cartman. I forgot how funny South Park really is. That chef episode where he gave him chili and Cartman ended up switching the chef's chili with that one kid's chili that owed him money and ended up killing his fucking parents.
Oh,
and he
shit.
fed it to him. Holy shit. Oh my god. Jeez. South Park, man, that show was still fucking funny. Jesus Christ. God. Like, unlike Family Guy and American Dad and what was the other one? Cleveland Show and all those other ones, King of the Hill and South Park were considerably funny then, and they translated very, very well. Now, if people go back and watch South Park certain seasons, that shit ages. The comedy ages really well for a lot of that stuff. Like, they were talking about like a lot of those trans issues for a long time in their show.
because the reason why, because it was still a thing then too. It was literally because people were talking about transitioning back then. It was like, why would you want to become why would anybody want to cut their balls off, become a woman? Like,
and then you have people always talking about how painful it is going through the surgery and stuff like that, and then how much scrutiny in life you get. It's like, but why would you want to put yourself under all that? It's just like how can I feel bad for you when you're the one trying to put all that pain on yourself? I don't know.
To me, I don't like. I'm not saying I don't.
It's hard not to feel bad because like it's just human empathy that we have. It's hard not to.
I do feel bad, but my biggest thing is like, at what point did you get to this point where you felt like you had to do this? Because my thing is, if it's one of those things where everybody's telling around don't do it and then you want to do it, that's why I don't feel bad for you. But if everyone's encouraging you to do this, like, oh yeah, this is the best thing for you, I'm like, all right, now you need to get away from these people. These people are trying to send you to a dark pit of hell. because people don't realize a lot of times people say, "Oh, I support you," but it's like they support you in the detriment of you. Like,
yeah, some people have friends and they say they support you, but they support you as if like they're not trying to argue with you on your bad decision, so they'll just kind of let you make a bad decision. Instead of trying to convince you that it's a bad decision.
They want to comfort you with whatever your decision is.
Instead of like telling you how shitty it is.
They rather have you jump off the cliff and then tell you how bad it was when you instead of
I don't know if they can tell you after you're dead.
But in that case, they rather tell you after before. It's like, if you know motherfuckers about to drink and drive, shouldn't you tell them before, yo, you shouldn't do that because you could get into a car accident or go to jail? But then there's after, if the motherfucker survives, oh, it's okay. Next time you'll know not to drink and drive. Like, no, motherfucker, you should have known before not to drink and drive. You don't do something stupid. Then if you know something's already stupid, you don't do it.
Well, I think the problem here inherently with people is like what I mentioned earlier, which is people sometimes will hear something that their friend says and think that, well, it's just my friend, I'll support them. But supporting it isn't just what's that word? Supporting isn't just going auto default on all their bad decisions that they make. That's not really what a friend does. A friend could be like, hey, I I like you, respect you, but I don't think this is what you should be
This
doing.
is
That's
dumb.
what a friend
This is,
really does.
You look at it, so you be like, this is fucking dumb.
Yeah, because I never tell people I don't want you arguing over everything because that's pointless. But if it's like life decisions, like big ones or stuff that's really concerning, yeah, you shouldn't probably just auto default fucking NPC just agree with what they're saying. No, like actually ask them why you feel this way. Because if you don't actually ask people why they feel a certain way, some people don't even know why they feel a certain way themselves. They just go, because some days as people we just kind of have like mood swings. I know people only say women really have them, but no, like as just people in general, you have mood swings where some days you're only really feeling angry because something in your head is just triggering you. You know, and it's just how life is. Head-to-head battles. Why is this stuff always popping up? And why is that? Man, he's so lucky, man. That girl is so cute. Man, I'll put my whole face in her butt. That probably smells good in there.
You stupid. You stupid.
All right. So, let's do the LCS 2023 Spring Split regular season, guys. It's over. We don't have to watch Dignitas or Immortals games for the next
Team Liquid, like just
or TSM. So we don't have to watch any of these teams play until literally when does the summer split start for the LCS? It starts in like June, I think, right? Yeah, it starts in like June, July period. So yeah, we're not gonna be watching these teams for a while. These teams have a long time to think about what went wrong, what bad decisions they made. Could they have made better decisions in the offseason in 2022 that could have panned out better for 2023? Well, let's go over these bad teams. Because this is the last time we're going to actually talk about any of these teams until literally probably around June. Now, I will say this. These teams not making playoffs, they'll make changes. I just find it crazy how people think, oh, no, they'll just run it back. That's the reason why some of you guys do not run orgs, because you would run them into the ground. Having this mentality of just run it back is just retarded. Now, I'm not saying you can't keep like certain pieces. I'm not saying like you can't keep certain pieces that work. No. Keep certain pieces that work and perform very well. But outside of whatever small pieces you want to keep, you don't run any of this back. I don't know how anyone could look at a lot of these teams and go, run that back, because that was, man, we really, really did it really well, but we just came up just short. No, it's not like you just came up just short. A lot of it was really bad for the most part. You know, I think people look at like the final weeks of the split and go, well, they got a win here and there. If they had because that's what people have to stop doing. It's like people have said certain things like, well, if Dignitas had played like this at the beginning parts, but they wouldn't be 3-15. Yeah, no shit. I'm pretty sure they would rather play the way they did in that final Golden Guardians game than they did when they were playing early in the split. Yeah, that's
but just remember, that's shit. One game. That's one game. Like
yeah, and we've watched this team for weeks on end, all their games, 8 weeks straight. This is not even counting the scrims people said they get dumpstered in 2. They have to fucking play this dog shit team. It's like, I don't get why people do that. It's like, oh, well, if you just improve for the next split, you'll do way better. There is no reason I should believe Immortals will play better than they do right now in summer. There's no reason for that. I get it. It's what's that word? It's blissful optimist. There's a fucking word for it. Yeah. There's blissfully being optimal that everything will just get better. And you know what? For some teams, it does click. Yeah. That's what it is. Yeah. Like sometimes that happens. Yeah. Sometimes it'll just click and everything just kind of figures itself out. Yeah, but I like to live in the real world, and a lot of times that this doesn't happen. You know, I mean, do you want to hope for that?
Or if it does, not fast enough.
So yeah, because that's the thing is like you can either be willfully ignorant to the fact that you just got completely mauled in scrims and on stage, or you could go, you know what, this is just not working. It sucks that we're in this situation. Let's try and improve it. I don't think improving your situation is keeping the same shit that already didn't work. Not just didn't work. People need to really, really actually think in their mind, okay? So people who don't understand this stuff, who are watching it that are like new and just don't know how the scene works. It's not just the games you see on the stage. These guys play scrims, okay? They even play solo queue with each other, okay? They play more games off stage than they do on stage. And if Dignitas is already getting mauled off stage and there are 5 scrim block sets, remember, you play 5 games for a scrim, right? And if they're getting, so let's say you play, because the day off for the players is Monday. So if you play scrims starting on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and they've lost, and they probably went 2-30 in some scrims.
2-28. because the thing is, was they said there was points of where Dig would even take a tower or barely. They would get like 1-2 towers,
I've
and
read
that was
certain
it.
stories where like they would just decline facing certain teams.
Yeah,
You could also do that. Like you could just I don't think you should be doing that in a competitive league. You should just be declining. But this has gone on for years, and I've talked about how I don't like that. But like that's I don't know.
There's reports that they FF after 15 minutes against.
Yeah. So basically, what that is like certain teams, if they know that they're not gonna be able to beat the better team in a scrim, they'll pick some troll. They won't pick troll picks, but they'll do troll things in game. So they'll try to challenge you level 1. It'll be like someone will pick Caitlyn, another guy picks Jinx, and the person who's playing Jinx thinks that they can out 1v1 a Caitlyn at level 1.
Yeah.
So they're not like griefing, but they're just literally running it down. So they'll try to FF the scrim at like 15. You know, you can even ask like, hey, let's just remake this shit. So they'll try and do that as fast as possible, just get it remade. And guys, keep in mind, Dignitas and Immortals, when it combined together, 7 and 29. Okay, together they went 7 and 29. I don't think you should be keeping any of these rosters together. So let's start with Dignitas. We thought coming into the season that Dignitas would have been at least 6th place. We had them pretty much in playoffs.
7th place. We had them missing playoffs. We still had them missing playoffs, but barely.
Right. So their biggest competition would have been literally what? TSM? We had TSM at 7th.
Yeah, TSM. Yeah,
TSM actually got 7th. That's crazy.
I had TSM 6th. I think the team I didn't have in was CLG. I saw we had Golden Guardians. We did have Golden Guardians in there.
Right. I had Immortals, Golden Guardians, and I think I had CLG.
I think we had EG, FlyQuest.
EG, Fly, and C9 were definitely top 3. I remember that for myself.
To me, C9 was 4th or 5th. Because
I had Team Liquid 4th.
I was not as sure about them. Yeah, Team Liquid was 4th. I had no. Yeah, Team Liquid was 4th.
And I had 100 Thieves fucking 5th. I know that for sure. I had them 5th.
EG was 1. FlyQuest was 2 for me. 3 was, I think 3 might have been.
That's who I had. I had Evil Geniuses 1, Cloud9 2nd, FlyQuest 3rd because I didn't.
I switched
really
to
think
was
how
yours.
their roster was gonna go.
I switched to was yours. No, that's what it was. No, I had 100C. I had Team Liquid 3rd. I had Cloud9 4th over 100C just barely because I thought Diplex. Because I thought the team around Diplex was better than the new team that was around Closer. Mm-hmm. And I think 6th might have been TSM or no, CLG. I think it was CLG. Barely.
I know for sure I had Dig at 6 because I remember I had TSM 7. No, I think I had TSM 8 because I remember saying that CLG would be better than TSM because they already had a cohesive team from last year. So with Dignitas, let's start it here. So we had Dignitas around 6, barely missing out on playoffs.
I had them 9th. I had no faith in anybody outside of Jensen. I saw Santorin last year. I was like, okay, Santorin's going to be good, but he's not going to be good enough to help the team rise to the top. I was like, okay, Jensen's going to be the anchor. Jensen was the anchor, but the ship was already sinking like 8 games in.
Dignitas went from an org. I mean, I could spend here all day like just shitting on their bad decisions. They went from an org that constantly made bad decisions to finally making some good decisions in the offseason. But then, even in the offseason we had last year, they picked up Arma, and we're thinking here like, bro, this guy is dog shit. Like, this is why I don't give like, what's that word? Fuck, guys, I'm sorry, guys, I just got off work, so I'm missing all my words for a second here. I don't give just leeway to people who make constantly stupid decisions. Like that Excel guy who did that video where he's sitting there going like, yeah, Targamus wasn't really communicative. It's like you would have known that because they put out fucking voice comms from G2 to understand that Targamus was not going to be a talkative support. If you wanted a talkative support, you should just got a talkative support. Then you can't be like, well, Dig didn't know Armor was this bad. Well, there's multiple games in the LEC to show that. Second of all, you saw them at World. Everyone watches Worlds. All their players are jerking off on their fucking PCs watching Worlds, right?
Yeah.
You would have watched Arma grief and run it down for Mad Lions every game he played. Even in games they won, he was a non-factor. Every game they won, the one they were winning against DRX. Remember when El Yoya was playing Belveth? He wasn't winning that. He was on Mordekaiser. The man was down like 80 CS to fucking Kingen of all people. Like the fact that some of these guys make these bad decisions because they're thinking like, okay, Armut was bad in Europe, but he'll probably just be good in NA. By what standard? By what? To have that mentality work, he would have already had to have been good, but not better than like the other players.
When he get worse in the LCS, because don't people consider LEC slightly higher than the LCS?
For top lane, no. LEC top laners are usually pretty bad for the most part.
Okay, that's mean.
I guess the mentality is, well, he can't compete with the best, but he can compete with the best in the LCS. But it's like he's not showing any good qualities to him. Because to have that mentality work and have what their mindset would work, he would have to be somewhat decent already. He would have to be like a decent player. He wasn't even decent. He's terrible. What is that?
And that's the funny thing, because you said the LEC sucks in top laners.
For the most part, yeah.
And the LCS has better top laners from what we see. Wouldn't that be a sign?
Making bad decisions is kind of like the thing.
I'm about to say, wouldn't that be a sign that you wouldn't want to bring him over? Because if our top laners are better than their top laners, why are we bringing somebody who's bad over here to somewhere where he might be even worse? That, you know what I'm saying?
Also the playstyle of EU tops versus NA tops. NA tops mostly auto default to getting the tank picks because they're not going to play out the matchups to the peak extent that you would probably see. Arma is literally a Gnar and Wukong top. He was actually pretty decent at that. So literally, if the meta isn't Gnar or Wukong top, then he's essentially just worthless. Like people said, "Oh, he wasn't really that bad." Then I know you weren't watching the games.
He's pretty much when the power forward had to start shooting threes, and the one that couldn't shoot threes were pretty much out of the league. Kind of like that in a sense. That's mean he was a 2-trick pony. And once that trick is over, he would just put on whatever.
Someone said he played decent when Mad Lions and him won in 2021. Yeah, he played decent. He didn't play great. That's the biggest inherent problem. You can play decent.
Was he the X factor for them ever winning?
Not even close. No, it was Humanoid and El Yoya that did that. Humanoid, El Yoya, and Kaiser's back when Humanoid actually had a brain and liked playing League of Legends.
Who was the other player on that team?
El Yoya.
El Yoya, Humanoid, Kaiser, and who was the other guy?
Karzi.
Oh yeah, okay. That's me. And you know, fuck them saying Armut could afford to be the worst player on the team because he had other guys that were good.
He literally replaced a guy who was so much worse than him that it was like, oh, okay, he can't be that much worse than that guy.
Okay. That's me. You go from dog shit to dumpster trash. Oh, okay.
Yeah, because Mad Lions went to 2020 Worlds. And they faced Armut when he was still playing for the Turkish team. This is back when Turkey still had a world spot. Armut crushed that guy, who was a Rome. Then Mad Lions bought the same guy who beat them.
Oh, shit.
Mad Lions bought the guy that crushed their top laner, won back-to-back splits, but even when he went to MSI in Worlds, he was decent at best. Guys, we're talking like if I gave him a rating, it would be like a 5 out of 10, maybe, you know?
Yeah.
Back when Akali top was good, Mordekaiser top, he was just meh. So if he's already not that good, he's already decent. It's like what's the real upside to his play? That's what I'm trying to figure out. It's like, where's the real upside to his play if he's already decent and he's not that good, winning a championship, right?
Yep.
So then, because before they brought in Tomo, who I'll talk about in a second, they had Spawn. Now Spawn was just dog shit. Like he was just really bad.
Yeah,
like, there was no redeeming qualities about him. Like, there was no redeeming qualities about him. He was just bad. Missing, man, couldn't even root on Zaya. Like, get the fuck off the stage. I had to go and watch that fucker, and I was like, this guy sucks. The man literally was dove under tower, and he couldn't even Zaya root properly. and you're like, what in the world? You know, and Dignitas, people like this is something that bodes a little bit in their favor over Immortals is Dignitas didn't initially start with their full starting 5 roster. Ignar came in when Dignitas were already 0-8, 0-7, something like that. So you're already starting with a suboptimal roster because remember, guys, they started with Armut, Santorin, Jensen, Spawn, and Biofrost. Spawn and Biofrost played last year together on Dignitas, and Spawn had a couple of good Jinx games against Golden Guardians, but that was pretty much it. Like, his only good games were against teams like Immortals, so it's like, okay, you know, like it's nothing really like super good. It's just like, oh, he's doing kind of well against Immortals. It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
So they have Biofrost and Spawn, who are probably one of the worst bot lanes I've ever seen play in competitive league in like the last 2 years. That was just a dumpster fire. Like probably like my dating life. Oh shit. Oh, so Biofrost and Spawn, complete dumpster fire. Jensen arguably is probably the best mid this org has ever had. And he honestly was their best player. And people are gonna say, but he didn't look that good in this game. You guys, it doesn't really matter. The point is, if you're the only something decent on your team, there's literally nothing you can do. I repeat. Now, people think it's hard in solo queue to do that. Now, imagine that with players that are 10 times better than we'll ever be in our lives, right? So it's already hard to win from having to carry sacks of corpses around your map, right?
Yeah.
Jensen was the only player on their team roaming, getting solo kills, trying to convert his leads into advantages. Just the only player who was doing anything. And they knew that. They knew Jensen was their only good player, so they targeted him. And when they put Jensen really far behind, that was essentially you just won the game. Santorin played really bad the whole split. There was not a single good game he had. The only good game he had was yesterday's game. Or was it yesterday? No, it was Friday. It was Thursday's. No, it was Friday's game of when he played Vi against Golden Guardians. That was it. That's his only good game the entire split. He sucked every single game.
Yep.
I don't think there was a game he actually even looked decent in. That's nope. I shit you not. There was
I think the EG game when he won. He looked decent. He wasn't like great.
Also, when he was like half throwing that game too.
Yeah, no, he was half thrown, but the thing is, it was like
he's the main reason why they didn't even win against FlyQuest. Remember that FlyQuest week where if they had beat FlyQuest, they could have had a chance to maybe like steal some more wins and get into playoffs. Yeah. He literally threw their playoff hopes away with how bad he played in that game against Spica. Like Santorin had literally maybe 2 good games the entire split. One where he's only looking decent because Sejuani is such a autopilot champion. You can look bad on that champion and kind of still get over and get some wins. He looked good on Vi, but a lot of the pressure, maybe it was like people say it's pressure on them and shit. Oh, boo-hoo. Motherfuckers get paid millions of dollars, okay? I'm sorry.
Millions, thousands, like hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Motherfuckers get paid like on average of like 90, 80K.
90 to 100K to play a video game.
Yeah,
you know how many of us would take down an RP? Oh, what? Oh, Chad.
I'm quitting. If I had an org come to my DMs with like 80K, you're gonna be our new top laner. All right, cool.
It'd be like, yo, Chad, you're our new support. Peace. I'm not even putting no 2 weeks notice.
I'm more than gone.
I'm coming in. I'm getting my shoes and I'm walking right out.
To factor in how much you could get paid on some of these orgs. Just like if someone said, "What if you play so bad you don't get hired for next?" But I don't care. You know how much money I could just live off that? I'd be fine. And then I can just get another job or whatever. It doesn't really matter. I'm fine.
I'll play good enough to get 1 year. If you're telling me I can make 95 after taxes, it'll be around 70K. I think whatever amount. If I can make at least 70K in 1 year, dude. Oh my god. You know what I could do with that? Yeah.
Oh my god.
Fuck. I'll take 50. 50 just straight up.
Oh yeah.
I ain't got paid for rent. I ain't got paid for food. What?
Yeah, never. Like so, the only thing, because I know a lot of the orgs pay for the players' expenses too, so you're pretty much just buying your own shit.
All I gotta do is just practice, stay in shape, and stay in shape. What?
And then at the same time, you could also stream. You're a pro player, so you'll automatically by default have people watching you.
I could stream and do Yu-Gi-Oh, or content on my
Twitch
YouTube channel.
Twitch Prime subs with the two. That's literally the life. Like, that's why a lot of people kill themselves in playing League to get to that point, because that's the life. Literally, even if you go out in a bad split, dude, guys, people will watch Spawn stream. People will. Lorlo. I'm pretty sure people
have Frost got like 40 people watching him.
Like people like Lorlo. Lorlo was dog shit when he was playing back on Team Liquid. Motherfucker has like 120 people that watch him. This is talking to someone who's literally crap, bad, trash.
Yeah,
dumpster trash.
Shit, I could. You know what I could do with 70K? Shit.
You know how much you have to pay me to run it down? I'll run it down for 70K. I don't care.
I'm trying my hardest, but I could get a new bed, new table. Shit I could get, just upgrade, get to a better life, work out more.
Oh my god. Well, so that's the thing with Dignitas, and Spawn and Bifrost, terrible bot lane. Worst bot lane I've seen in a very long time. Jensen, it wasn't his fault, guys. I'm sorry. Like, I love Jensen. I met the guy, talked to the guy. He's awesome guy. There's nothing you can do. There's literally nothing, honestly. Who else was it? Okay, so then they ended up switching out Spawn for Tomo. And a lot of people shitted on Dardock for this, and I agree with him to a certain extent, because he said they kind of scapegoated, Spawn for all their bad play. But the thing here is Spawn was really bad, though. Like, Spawn played really bad. Like, Tomo wasn't that much better either. I'll say, like, Tomo wasn't that much better either. He was honestly arguably just as bad as Spawn. The only thing that separated Spawn from Tomo was that Tomo attempted to, like, compete in the games. It's only that was different. Tomo was willing to compete in the team fights when they ever had them. That's it. Other than that, Tomo wasn't actually that much better. So, Dig versus T1, that would be like bronze players fighting against like fucking platinum players. That'd be disgusting.
Exactly.
So yeah, that's it with Dig. Horrible team. Bad. Reconstruct all that shit. I don't want to see if they run that roster back. Just go 10th place again. Why should I care? If they run the roster back, we just need more time. Yeah, then I need no time to watch your games, because I know you don't give a fuck, honestly.
Yeah.
The only player you keep is Jensen and probably Ignar, because he didn't get his fair shot. That was not his fault. Literally, when he came into the team, they were essentially already out of playoffs. They were already on 9 losses when he came in, or they're on 8 losses.
No, it was 9, because they were 0-9, and then they got their first win.
Yeah. But by the time he came in, it was pretty much, you're already like, this. It's over for these guys. There's nothing they can do. So if you want to keep Jensen and Ignar, that's fine. Because I mean that this would be the most best thing for Ignar, is like, hey, can you at least give me a whole split to perform? But the problem here, I told you with Ignar, is Ignar played badly on Immortals last split too. The thing here with Ignar is when he came in, was there that much difference either? There was some difference, guys. We're talking like very, very minimal differences here. And by how bad these guys were, I would honestly just not run the roster back. I would just keep Ignar and Jensen, give Ignar his full few weeks to play, to have him kind of figure out what support he needs. Because I think with Ignar, if he doesn't really synergize with the ADC that he's playing with, he'll just kind of just not look that good. Like, he's a very like ADC dependent person. If he can play ADC very well with someone, he can pop off really hard. Or if he has no good synergy with his jungler, then he's just not going to look that good. Remember, the Dignitas roster had no synergy either. Like, a lot of them were just doing just stupid shit just for the sake of doing it, because they weren't trying to like be homeless in LA, All right, so let's go to Immortals, who arguably look as worse as Dignitas probably. I really don't know why people still like Revenge, or I mean, people can like anybody, it's whatever, right? But I think people like Revenge for his personality, because he's probably a pretty cool guy. But I don't know what the fuck that's going to get you trying to win a league. I repeat, you are not going to ever win with Revenge. You will never hold a trophy with that guy, ever. If you are Immortals, you will never be at a finals weekend winning a playoff series, a BO5 with Revenge. It'll never happen, because he's not that good. I'm sorry. His top lane play is atrocious. Man looks good in like 2 games out of an entire regular season. It's crazy, Kenvi, even when Kenvi has good games, he still looks not that good. Even when Kenvi gets leads, even when he actually has the initiative to actually do like something on the map, he just is incompetent at playing better. Like he's incompetent at knowing, okay, eyeball is gold. How should I be spreading it throughout my team? What should I be doing? Remember those Viego games he had? Those other games? He's like, for the last 3 games, he's had like actually good enough games where you're like, okay, like he's not like incompetent. He can do something. I just think he's just a massive choke artist. I just don't know what else to really say about this guy. When he gets a lead, he doesn't know what to do with it, and when he doesn't have a lead, he just looks like a chicken with his head cut off. That's pretty much what he looks like.
Yeah.
He doesn't have good synergy with any of his teammates. All he does is just kind of lose gracefully every game. He only really looks good, so he just stays on a team. I promise, after summer split, if they don't get rid of him, after this split, if they don't get rid of him, keeping this top side is just cancer. I would imagine that Immortals of Scrims weren't just as bad as Dignitas's, or maybe worse. You know?
Yeah.
They swapped out a Blaze Olive mid-season for Balulu. Now that was because a Blaze Olive, he had what was it? He wanted to take a break because of personal issues.
I think he was burnt out. I think he started right on the wall and realized, okay, I can't play with these guys because
that'll happen with players too. It's like they'll the PR statement will be like personal issues, but in reality, guys, Blaze Olive just didn't think this team was gonna make playoffs or do anything. Because guys, he's playing more games, just not on stage too, right? And I think Balulu played better than a Blaze Olive ever did on stage anyway.
Yeah.
Like they actually got, surprisingly, through a Blaze Olive, I don't know, benching himself, or maybe the org enticed him to bench to just.
They got better because they had a player that believed that everybody could win, or at least do better.
Yeah, because I think Balulu played fine given the circumstances around him, given the situation around him. He played fine. Like he had leads in lane. He was trying to, up the pace of the game. He was trying to actually dive bot lane, get kills.
Plus, he had that hunger to play. Because the Blaze Olive did look like he wanted to play.
It looked like he was complacent as hell.
He looked like he looked like he was done 2 weeks into after that 4th game.
We heard about the XL player. I think he had that XL player thing. Where he was done before the season even started. He was like, "All right, we scrim. We went 0-30. All right."
Yeah.
Motherfucker was done in week 1.
No, trust me. I've had that same thing back in the day when you were testing out. This is my last format before I retired or left Yu-Gi-Oh. The guy literally he would lose all his matches playing. It was during the 2010 format or what they call Edison format. He just lost all his matches. He just literally just gave up all his cards. He did not want to play Yu-Gi-Oh anymore. Hasn't came back since. He was just like, I'm done. I was like, dude, I've had times where I just didn't win a match, didn't even win a game. But I didn't give up. I just let me retool this deck. Okay, let me see if I need to play a new deck. Okay, let me figure out what I need to do. But some guys are just like, all right, if they don't feel like they have anything they can do, they just leave. They literally just FF the whole season. They're like, all right, cool. I'll be back soon, eventually, hopefully.
Like Blaze Olive, maybe the org was like, hey, we don't want to publicly fire you, but yeah, this ain't working out at all. That's crazy how you have people like Kenvi and Revenge on your team and you're kicking out a Blaze Olive. Crazy. I don't know how badly this top side could go 0-20 in a game combined together, and Immortals be like, we still got some gold here.
Yeah.
The decision. So they brought in Balulu. He had that Vel'Koz game that looked good. The Ari game looked good. All of his games looked pretty good given the circumstances around him. And people say, but how would he look on a better team? Oh, geez, I wonder if I had a crystal ball or I could predict if that. I don't know. I don't know, but I can judge from the games that we saw. He looked competent, at least,
Yeah.
One would say that maybe he would look better on Team Liquid over Harry. I don't know, honestly. I thought he played good given his circumstances. And the bot lane of tactical in and full ass. Also, one of the worst bot lanes in the league. I thought Spawn and Biofrost were pretty bad. And Tomo and Ignar were pretty bad. But God damn, was tactical and full ass dog shit.
Hmm.
Was there any games they were ahead in outside of that one game they won against EG? I don't think there was a game where they've actually had a substantial lead and they actually did anything with it. You know?
The Dig game, and they almost choked that up.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah,
Dig was up, and then
that's when Tactical was
Immortals.
playing Misfortune.
Yeah, Dig was up,
Yeah.
then Immortals was up, and Immortals tried to give the game back to Dig. It oh my god, I watched that whole game. I was like, I can see people say, "Yo, man, I got silver. I've seen silver games better than this." I'm like, and it's literally Dig, dude. Oh my god, seeing Justin's frustration there, dude. Like I said, he's gonna lead this team. If Justin finds another team to play for, he's out. He's not. I can't see him coming back to Dig. And Immortals,
I just couldn't imagine a world where Jensen would want to stay. If you're Jensen in this situation, trying to make the most out of it, you're like, okay, Arma was cool playing with you, but you're really, really trash. We need somebody else.
Santorin, I don't think he has the love for the game anymore, or it looks like
I think he's losing hope because he hasn't won a title in a very, very long time. I mean, a very long time, and he's losing hope that it'll ever happen again. Like, because if he couldn't win a title on Team Liquid when they had like some of the best players in their position at that current moment in time, it's like, then when are you ever going to win again? You know? So that's my thing here is if you're Jensen or you're Balulu in their situations, I would go, hey, I know it's mid-season right now. Let's prep for summer. This roster is not working. Just tell them, hey, it's not me, it's you. And then we can kind of work on it because I promise you guys right now, if these guys keep their same rosters, they're about to have the same records. They might get a few more wins. Oh, great. Whoop-de-doo. It doesn't matter. But what if they get 3 wins over 4? They had less than 5 wins. Both of these teams did. They had less than 5 wins combined. They had 7 wins together.
Think about this. Cloud9 had double both their, like, if you combine both their wins totals, it double it is how much they have with Cloud9. Just think about that. Like, you would have to double both their scores combined to even equal Cloud9. It's like it's like,
because it's not even the fact that they went a combined 7-29. Because people have to factor, it's not about the game score. It's about, did you watch the game and did you actually see what's going on in the game? Because if you see what's going on in the game, that score looks even worse because you know those teams probably could have literally both went like 1-17 on the split, given how bad they actually were. I was surprised teams even dropped games to them in general, given how bad they were.
The team I'm surprised that lost to them was EG. That's
because we even said if they lose to them, that's when it all just goes all to shit.
And that's when it all went to shit. It was like that was
because keep in mind when you actually watch the games when either of these two teams play, it looked so bad. I wanted to throw bleach into my eyes. It was that bad. I almost wanted to have a heart attack.
I just sat down like, wait a second, motherfuckers getting paid $100,000 to do this, nigga. This is what I do. Not at that level, but motherfuckers, if you need
what's worse about that? Then we gotta hear Latiger's casting. That's even worse.
If you want to pay somebody $90,000 to int for 40 minutes, I'll do that. I can int for 40 and just run it down and just miss lanes and shit. Nigga, I could be JoJo Pion for 40 fucking minutes. Like by some of the bullshit he was doing. You know how I'd be fucking doing. Not that like, I mean he's still a good competitor, but but just to get back to it, it's those two teams they need a remodel, man. My best thing for Dig, get rid of Armut. That's number one.
Armut. I'm sorry, guys. Tomo sucked too. He was a smidgen a bit better than Spawn, but he sucked too. Santorin, sorry, I like the guy, but not cutting it.
Yeah.
Just keep for Dignitas, keep Jensen and Ignar. For Immortals, just keep Balulu and write the rest of those players off.
Yeah, I was about to say, just pay him out, or trade him or sell him to another team, something.
All right, let's go to Team Liquid. All right, Team Liquid, in the offseason, they bought the world champion, PO shit.
They bought a world champion, and what did they do?
Kind of got the wrong guy. They're like, you know
What's
what?
that?
The full DRX roster was Kingin, PO shit, Zeka, Deft, and Barrel. They're like, you know what? Out of all these 5 players, we need PO sick. Wait, you know what? Zeka? Or Kingin? Or Deft? Or Barrel? No. We need PO sick.
Deft would probably have been hard to get over. I think they could have got Kingin or Barrel.
Yeah, because Barrel looks so miserable on DRX.
I think they could have got Barrel and find a way to convince Cordelia to be a coach. Because can I be honest about it real quick? I love Cordelia, man. I watch some of his videos on how to play certain support champions.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I've been getting a lot better,
Mm-hmm.
But,
he does have a YouTube channel. His support knowledge is amazing.
Yes, he's an excellent coach.
Mm-hmm.
But his time's done. I think his mechanics has gotten a lot worse in the last few years since I went back and watched his games. To me, this should be his last season, hopefully. Or whenever his contract ends, he needs to retire and become a coach because he has the skills to become a coach, but he doesn't have he's been lapped by a lot of the players that he's playing against right now. He just doesn't have it anymore, in my opinion.
Because also my thing is that Team Liquid has been in a lot of finals, a lot of very big matches.
Yeah.
He's been the person that's kind of lost them, a lot of them too. And imagine last year when they were facing off against EG, when Danny got that Jinx pentakill out the Baron pit, whole team collapses after that. They pretty much don't make Worlds last year with that super roster. In 2021 against 100 Thieves.
Not even make Worlds. They don't even make top 4.
Oh, they lost in both third place matches, actually. Keep in mind, they didn't make Worlds, and they lost in both, I repeat, both third place matches. They didn't get top 4. They didn't even get top 3 each split. They just lost in third place matches.
About it, they lost to a Danny who mentally was breaking down.
The second time. Yeah,
the second time.
The first time he was not mentally breaking down.
They said he was competent during the spring, but they said during the summer is when his mental started to fizzle. They said by that third place game, it's when he was they crying, and now they're saying that's when he was mentally exhausted. And you lose to a guy people who are mentally exhausted, they don't focus well. They're usually just focusing to where they want to go next. You had Whippo, you had Santorin, you had Beerson, you had Hansama, and you had Cordelia. You tell me you can't even get 4th place?
Third,
you can't even get 3rd? You can't. What the?
Are you in because that was 2022. 2021, they made finals both splits. Santorin couldn't play in the finals because he had massive migraine, so they played Armao. They actually almost won the finals too. They actually almost won. They were one game away of very, very. The last game wasn't close because they gapped them pretty hard in that final game 5, but the whole series was really close. You lose that, you're like, fuck, if we had, because people say, oh, if they had Santorin, they would have won. No, because Cloud9 beat that Santorin team in the other round. With our Mal, they almost won.
Yeah.
Then what happens in summer? 100 Thieves get Abadage. They get a whole lot better than having dog shit Ryoma, and they beat 100 Thieves in the winners upper bracket semifinals to get into the finals weekend. Yeah. So they beat them 3-2. 100 Thieves also troll that draft with fucking the Callista Twisted Fate no damage comp. They beat them.
I remember rewatching that shit.
Reaper drafted, guys, shit you not, guys. Scion, Sejuani, Twisted Fate, Callista, and Leona. No damage. Go next. Dog shit comp that man was drafted.
That was my comp one time, but not that same comp because we didn't I didn't play Leona. I played
it might have been Lee Sin or Viego, but that man drafted. I know for sure
it was Fate,
Callista, and Leona. I know for sure that was those 2 champions. I remember watching it. Okay, you just lost. That has no damage. So just get off the stage. They're lucky no fans are watching. They're lucky it was COVID and no fans was watching it because I would have threw up watching that shit. Twisted Fate, Callista, and Leona. I don't know where your damage comes from, but it sure ain't coming from those champions.
It could come from Twisted Fate, but the issue with Twisted Fate is his is like RNG because you got to aim it correctly.
It's
and
isolated.
Then you build up.
Yeah, it's like Ezreal's. It's very isolated. It's not AOE.
Yeah.
So Team Liquid beat 100 Thieves 3-2. They're so lucky 100 Thieves drafted so bad in that final game. Then they're thinking like, oh, we can just smoke 100 Thieves. No, they just get murdered 3-0.
Yep.
So they lost both finals back-to-back for the entire year. Then they go to Worlds with that roster. They have a chance to actually get out of the group, given how like it was the second Worlds group ever to have a 4-way tiebreaker. They're actually going like head-to-head with these teams. Like they could actually beat Gen.G. They beat Gen.G. They beat LNG. They beat Mad Lions. They're like, oh, Jensen's over here just putting his fat Danish cock out on people and shit.
I was about to say, yeah, he's Danish, right?
And then Tactical runs it down for them in the final game against Gen.G.
Oh, I remember that. That was...
And then you know what Team Liquid do? Team Liquid sell Jensen. Team Liquid bench Jensen for Bjergsen. You're like, wait a minute, what the hell? Didn't Jensen just put his cock out against his... No, Jensen, sorry. We were with that old dusty Coach Bjergsen. I don't know what this roster does, man. They just keep making bad decisions repeatedly.
That was the game where that was the game where at the end Jensen looked like he was about to murder somebody, right? I thought
it was when he was on. It was when BDD pulled out Zoe and he pulled out Syndra. This when BDD made people start playing Zoe at the World Championship. Even though Forceman pulled it out, you're like, because Zoe does kind of Syndra pretty hard. So he's still in that game. They looked good in that game. It's just tactical. You can't carry that motherfucker. That guy's just dog shit.
No, trust me. I remember because I think Sean told me to watch that game. I remember watching it.
Like that's a group they could have got out of. They were looking good.
I remember Jensen looked like he was about to. He was just. I ain't never seen someone disappointed.
So that was 2021. 2020. That was the COVID year. Okay, so in spring they don't make playoffs in that year because Double If is just fucking brain went to this shit. That's when they brought in Broxa. And then in summer, they make top 3 because they do better that split with Jat. That's when Jat was their head coach. And then they faced TSM. They could have beat TSM.
You talk about Jat, the commentator?
He was their head coach at one point. And then they had Alfari. And then
I didn't know he was a coach?
Yeah, they brought in Jat in that split. It was the LCS 2020 summer split. Then they get back in the playoffs. So they're facing TSM to decide who's going to go to play in the play-in stage.
Yeah.
They could win that series. Nope. They choke it. They go to the play-ins. There's a good... If G2 beats Suning in that game, there's a chance that Team Liquid face Suning, and they already beat Suning earlier in the day. That means that they had actually faced Suning again, there's a good chance they may have a group. They've just been getting all the unlucky shit. It all happened after they got rid of Impact, after they got rid of Xmithy for Broxa in the 2020 offseason. Ever since they got Broxa for Xmithy, it's been like, I wouldn't say all downhill because they've made finals. Like they've been to Worlds. It's not, I don't know what's going on with them anymore. I guess winning 4 back-to-back splits in a row just fucking make their heads explode. But they did have Double Lift when they won all those championships too. But and this roster, like this roster. So this roster, this is the second time Team Liquid also missed spring too. So TSM and Team Liquid have both missed 2 spring playoffs. Okay, this is Team Liquid's second time. The other time was the 2020 spring when you had Broxa and Double Lift and Core JJ, Jensen and Impact. That didn't work out. Summit I don't even know anymore. I think he got better as the split went, but they only put him on tanks because if you put him on carries, he just huffs fucking pain or some shit, and he just doesn't understand how he's doing. So Summit couldn't play carries because he's just too idiotic to understand, like, okay, this is what a carry really should do. So they put him on tanks, so he took up damage, but his team was incompetent at playing around a tank. You're just like, okay. Piosik, I mean, he had that one good Lee Sin game. That's pretty much it. Like, outside of Santorin and Kenvi, Piosik was just as bad as them. What game did he look good in outside of that Lee Sin game? As sad as I think Santorin and Kenvi looked better in their wins than he did too. Like, I repeat it, PLC only had like one good game. Literally one. A single good game. Who's a mid laner? Harry, he just was meh the whole split. He wasn't like super dog shit, but he wasn't like a difference maker either. Yeon had moments where he looked good, but there was moments where maybe it's the synergy with Core JJ that literally isn't there. And then Core JJ, he was having a dog shit split. Like, man, this guy, like, people were already saying, hey, why is he not getting criticized more for just blatantly not playing good anymore? And then, I mean, this is not going to help his case either. So, yeah, Team Liquid, they had this full like TLCK roster thing, and it just doesn't work. I don't know who was telling Steve to make these decisions. You know, I don't know. Steve is getting bamboozled by some of these people. It's like, I feel like he's taking all these people's advice, but not really looking to this stuff himself. And realistically, this is what they're getting paid to do. But my thing here is they really, really got to look at what are they doing with Team Liquid anymore. Like, this is an org that did very well for LCS standards, and like, you expect a lot more out of this org in general, you know? You just do. But you just can't. I don't know. Like, I just, their decisions have been really bad. A lot of questionable decisions that they've been making for a long period of time. You know, their coaching staff, they bring in Marin, who has never coached anything, to be their head coach in his first split. Okay, why not start him off as like an assistant head coach first and see how he works with the players, and do the 100 Thieves route. Try him out as an assistant first and see how that goes. And then when he's like, okay, this is what he really could be for us, then maybe give him that positional upgrade. But yeah, Team Liquid, yeah, that's all bad. And then how do you fix that roster? Because they already have 3 imports and LCK players. You bring in over a player that isn't in the Korean fashion. That's probably not going to work out either, because the culture clashes are going to be just that much different. I don't know, honestly.
You gotta force Core JJ to retire. You gotta get him. You gotta get him to become a coach and bring over Barrel over DRX, and just like, cause that motherfucker, he looks miserable as shit on DRX right now. You gotta get Core JJ to retire or become a coach or something, because he don't have it anymore. He has the coaching aspect, but he don't have the player aspect. Like, and that's the thing. Sometimes, like, your physical will go before your mental, and you can just tell he just doesn't have it anymore. Like, the mechanics wise, like, you know, in a sense.
Yeah, I mean, their gameplay was bad. Like, people said there were games that they looked good in, but they didn't close out. Yeah, that's what bad teams will look like that too. That's
both of them against 100 Cs where they had a lead, but then they let 100 Cs scale up. Oh, we could be in 30 minutes. I'm like, no,
you know, has like Zeri and Jinx, 2 of the most fucking broken ADCs at 35 minutes in the game. It's like, bro, what are you doing?
You don't want those two. And then the only person you could, that last game they played, the only person you could play, the only person you defeat is the tank, who literally damn near half damage you guys as a zombie, and then you just get one shot by double lift, like, and then close it over there. Just, oh my god, ganking behind, and he just catch you off guard, and they all y'all just get waxed between him and Beerjin, and then you got Busio over there playing. Y'all can't even kill Busio, and Busio over there playing like he's playing as the decoy. Y'all can't even kill him. Oh my god, that's like a game for Team Liquor versus 100 Cs. That right there made it known that someone has to go. Like, it's not working. There's something that's not working within that organization, and they gotta fix it out fast. Like, in my opinion, they gotta fix it out fast.
I just don't know what they do. Like, their gameplay is extremely bad. Like, someone said bring in Whipple Jungle, but like, the problem here is I wouldn't disagree with that. It's not a bad move, but would that work with the Korean style they have going?
Nah.
You know?
Nah, they gotta try to bring over another import, or they gotta. I'm saying run it back, but that's. Yeah, that I think the expectation in the play style. Shit.
because this is what I would say, and this is what happens in the LPL too. This is what
Yeah.
someone said I was watching, where if you pick Jin, remember this team was so bad at playing shit, they started going to Jin. Now, Jin is
Yeah.
not a bad ADC, but Jin is a utility ADC that functions better when you're trying to have a option of going for plays and, you know, poking people out and just doing certain things on the map, right? They were playing Jin. I think this was the only team that was actively trying to play Jin. They played Jin because they realized that if they played any ADC with any support, they just weren't going to do anything. Remember, this was the only team still picking Lucian Nami, and actively they went a combined total of like 0-9 on Lucian Nami. They're like, okay, after the 9th loss, we need to actually play different bot lane. That's not insanity. I don't know what is.
Yeah,
they lost every Lucian Nami game, every single one.
And the issue is, and the crazy part about even with the Lucian Nami, there were some games that were winnable, and they just were just and you're just like, what the hell's going on? Like, you don't lose Lucian Nami games like that. You know what I'm saying? You don't lose those, and they were just losing them.
Yeah, it's the problem with how they were working in lane 2. Their trading was really bad. Their laning phase was extremely bad. Like, they're picking like one of the auto default best bot lanes in the game and just losing on it. Just ridiculous shit. Wait, what's this lady saying? All right, so that's Team Liquid. I really don't know what they can do, honestly. Alfari is a backup top laner for Team Vitality. He should probably not be that anymore because he's not getting the spot or Photon. He should probably like go to a different org.
Yeah.
He's not getting play over a Photon. That would never happen because he's much worse than Photon. He's not even a bad player. He's just on what Photon is, actually. All right, so let's go to TSM. TSM in the offseason, I mean, we don't really have high hopes for this roster anyway. I think we had them like 8th, 7th, something like that. They weren't going to make playoffs anyway by a lot of our predictions just in general. But I think the issue with TSM came pretty much down to they settled on Neo, and he was bad for the most part. Then later on, they bring in Wild Turtle. He kind of is a decent little Band-Aid for the situation, but they're not really trying to play to protect Wild Turtle. Like, they're trying to play this, like, protect the ADC style, but they're not trying to really fully protect their ADC. And then after that, you have Solo, who looked pretty okay for the most part. And then there's that TSM tiebreaker with 100 Thieves, and he just fucking ran it down. So they put in Hanser. He wins them a game, and then they take Hanser out and put Solo back in. You're like, wait, what? I just, maybe that was just punishing him. Oh, we'll punish you by just taking you off the game. It's like, this is week 8. You need to get playoffs, and they're doing benchings like that, which is really cringe. I think Boogie had a pretty meh split overall. I think his Elise games looked good, but everything else, when he wasn't playing Elise, just was like pretty shitty, all things considered. I think Maple should get a lot of praise because I think he played really well throughout the entire split. There were obviously games where he looked bad, but I think for the most part, he looked good throughout most of the split. His games were all fine. There's the same thing with Jensen. Like, Maple had just better pieces to work with, but these aren't pieces you can really win anything with. A lot of people were saying, oh yeah, Chime played. I don't think Chime played well at all, really. I think Chime just looked meh. This is just a meh roster full of like decent, okay pieces. They kind of, and that's what you got. They got what they paid for. They paid for a bunch of meh to okay players with one solid standout player in Maple. That's it. So they had a really decent, I would say they had a good mid laner and a bunch of just suboptimal decent players. That's it. I told people said Solo played really well for TSM last year. It's like, he really didn't play really well. He played okay. This is what Solo is. He just plays okay. He just plays okay. And that's what you get if you play with TSM. Now TSM has missed playoffs again. TSM will make roster changes. TSM for sure will make roster changes. Who do they change out? I don't really know, honestly. I think they should bench. I think they should get rid of Boogie. I think this Boogie experiment is not really working out. I think if you want to bring up Santorin from their academy team, they should try that. I think they should actually play Haunter. And people said, well, wouldn't that just be the TSM team from 2016 and 2017 plus just plus Chime and Maple? Like, yeah, I think that'd be a decent team. That's what they should do. They should do Haunter, Svenskeren, Maple, Wild Turtle, and Chime. Pretty much TSM 2016, 2017 with just Maple and Chime. I think that would be better than what they have right now. That has probably a lot more upside to it as well. And that's all about TSM. Anything else you want to say about them, actually?
TSM, I can't even say they're disappointment because they're not.
Yeah, really. They kind of landed right where we thought they were.
Yeah.
It's not like I'm surprised they landed 7th with a budget roster.
Yep.
Yeah, people are like, it's disappointing, but nobody had them making playoffs really anyway. Most people's predictions outside of ours, people outside of us had them lower than what we did. We had them at like 7th. A lot of people had these guys at like fucking like 9th, 10th. I mean, them getting 7th is kind of the better odds that what we thought they were going to end up at.
Yep.
All right. So that's it for the teams that we won't be talking and won't be seeing for a while, like a legitimate while. All these teams are making roster changes. I can tell you that right now. And if they don't, well, they can just miss out on Worlds then. That's what they can do.
Yeah.
But all these guys making Worlds, probably not either.
Team Liquid, I think, has the best opportunity to, out of these 4, if they make the right changes or make the right adjustments. I have no faith in Dig. Definitely have no faith in Immortals. And TSM, next. That's it. Team Liquid was the only team I have faith that could adjust because of the next team and their blunder toward the end of the season.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's go to our playoff teams. Our playoff teams are locked, and our playoff teams are Golden Guardians, Evil Geniuses, Counter Logic Gaming, 100 Trash, 100 L's, 100 Sims,
100 C's.
100 W's.
Put motherfucking respect on their name.
100 W's?
100 C's stole these motherfucking games. They
pulled a heist. Motherfuckers pulled another heist.
They pulled a heist, baby, out here, motherfucker. I told you, man, C's out here stealing shit, and then it was like, told you, go come and steal the motherfucking LCS spring split. No, I'm kidding. But I swear to God, they do. I swear to God, they steal. I swear to God, if they win the spring split, motherfucking teams need to have roster changes immediately. Don't let 100 C's win the mother-loving spring split. Do not let them do that. Do not let them do that. That like 100 C's, FlyQuest, and Cloud9. It's crazy how people have I think Cloud9 being fourth, fifth makes sense, but it was like the one guy that said, "Oh, Cloud9 is first because they really." I mean, they moved on from Jensen, but like Jensen was kind of like regressing for a bit. But it was like, and they did have the best team overall from last year. Like,
all right, so let's go to Golden Guardians. So Golden Guardians, they actually did better than when most people had them at. Now, I want to keep this in mind too. Most people just had Golden Guardians like 8th,
7th, 8th
max anyway, and they got 6th. So yeah, they did kind of overperform the expectations, but it's like they pretty much ended up kind of where most people thought. And this is like best case scenario too. Like worst case scenario, they're 7th or 8th, and it's like, okay. Golden Guardians started out with young. Gory came in faster than the other orgs that didn't get their players, and they actually went on a 7-game win streak. They were actually doing pretty good in their win streak too. Like River and Gory looked like they were going to be one of the best mid jungle duos in the league. Stixay played League of Legends finally.
Yeah, he finally had somebody that was a baby in him. That's what it was. Who he said, "You're good, but you can be better." And Stixay's like, "Oh, but I want to be pampered." And he didn't say it like that, but in a way.
And you had this thing where I think people have to understand. Stixay looked, I think, competent. I wouldn't say good. I wouldn't say great. I wouldn't say amazing. I wouldn't say decent. He looked competent because he was playing the champions that literally, if you look bad on those champions, there's just no saving you at that point. Like, did he have really any standout games? No, not really. He just looked just very competent. That was it. Now that, and I don't know if that's an insult or a compliment. I don't know that myself either right now. I don't think he played that well, all things considered, even when they were winning. I think my thing here is I don't really understand why people thought that he had a comeback split when he played sub-average the whole split most of the time anyway. Even in their wins, yeah, he looked good. I mean, anybody can look good on Zeri when you have fucking 2 items and 4 kills. Like, that's just how I see it personally. Gory and River looked really out of sync throughout the rest of the split. Like, after they lost that first game, when their win streak got broken, it just felt like this team was just all out of sorts for the most part,
Yep. It felt like people started to figure them out. That's what it was. People started to figure out how they played, and they exploited it.
Licorice was one of the worst top laners, I think, in the league too.
Oh no, he was one of the worst. If it wasn't for our move, he probably would have been.
That's crazy because I didn't honestly think he would play that bad. I think last year he was decent. He used to be one of the best top laners in NA.
There were games he was great, and there was games where it was like
a lot of the reasons why they lost a lot of the games did come off the back of him making bad engages, bad roaming at inopportunistic times,
and slow item building. Because he didn't get enough gold. It was like you are here, you're 2 lows behind your top laner counterpart. Like you're missing the assignments. You're out there getting caught out.
He would try to flank, coming out on flanks super late, TPing super late to team fights.
Yep,
like he just wasn't good the entire split for the most part. Anyway, I think he looked okay. He probably was the most stable player throughout the split. Actually,
he looked better this year than last year. I think last year he looked good for one of the C's, but he was their weakest link last year. I think this year he was. He
stepped up pretty solid.
I think this time because he had the leadership role, it was better. Because last year he didn't have the leadership role. I think he might have been the last person you listened to on that team. Like you would probably listen to either closer or Someday first. Then maybe FBI, then Abadagi, and who he were last. You want to listen to who he first. That's why that whole thing with FBI was conflicted, even though they're still cool. It was like,
all right, so after Golden Guardians, and the thing I think Gory did, I don't know what happened to him because it might have been either they got figured out or maybe they lost faith in each other. Maybe scrims were going so bad they lost faith in each other, and because even who he said himself when that interviews with like Emily and the casters, like they like struggled on how they wanted to play out certain compositions and weren't on the same page. It's like, yeah, you can tell that in their games.
Yeah, plus there was times where it was like you got Huhi, Gory, and River. They had a certain thing, and then they're speaking in Korean. Now you kind of leaving Stixay out there. Now you got to update on him, but Stixay over there want to do this. By the time you figure everything out, Stixay's already here, and he's about to get 2-shot by freaking Jenks that's like 2 levels above. And you're like, wait a second, why Stixay so far behind? Like it's just one of those things where it just never looked well. It just never looked good. It just never looked good for for Golden Guardians after that 7-game win streak got broke. It just never really got back on track for them because I think after that they were 7-4. They went 2-5.
Yeah. So after their win streak, they had been losing a lot. So
they went 2-5.
Yeah, because they lost to Team Liquid. They lost to Team Liquid. Then they beat Immortals, so they're 1-1. And then they dropped to 100 Thieves.
Yep.
Then they win against TSM, so that's 2-2, right? And
because
I remember after the win streak, they just lost a lot of games repeatedly.
Yeah. And then they lost the final 3. No, I thought they beat TSM.
They ended off the split with 3 losses for sure.
Yeah.
They lost every game of the Super Week. They went 0-3.
Yeah, they lost to Dig. They lost to
in their last 5 games, they went 1-5.
Yeah, 1-4 in the last 5. 1-4 in the last 5. 2-5 over the last 7. They just
it wasn't like how the mighty have fallen. They were just playing spoiler. They were playing surprise.
They caught people off guard, and then the minute you found them out, you're like,
the moment the teams with the better players figured out how to beat them, it was just a wrap.
Yep.
All right, let's go to Evil Geniuses. This is the team that a lot of us had either maybe contesting to win this title, which should still very well happen. But then again,
first after the spring split, the regular season was over.
The reason why I had them at first was because I thought they had made the best roster decisions in the offseason over the other teams. And at times it did look like they did. At times during the split, it looked like they were definitely going to be potentially challenging to keep that to be that top 3 team. So people said it was all because they got sick, and that's the reason why. I mean, even before they got sick, they were making just a lot of mistakes. And these were like not mistakes that the other bad teams would make. These are mistakes that they could easily fix. This is nothing you're doing that bad. You just, and these mistakes just kept being persistent over time.
All started with that dig game.
Ever since they lost to Dignitas in that week, they just didn't look the same. It
was the second half of the split opener, I believe.
Because the thing here is, I think Someday didn't have a good split at all. He had that one Garen game. Other than that Garen game, and that
that Garen game, because that was the game. Oh my god, Garen's pick, and everybody was like, yes. Woo! Everybody was dick riding EG. Oh my god, EG's gonna win the split. I was like, okay, chill.
He had that one good Aatrox game, and he had that one good Garen game, and that was it.
Yep.
Inspired, I think, played very well up until the last few weeks.
Until the last two, it was.
I think he lost faith in his team too. He's like, I can't. I can't do it.
This is why I think he started to lose faith. I think when JoJo got sick and then they swapped in Ryoma, and then at that point, and then they all had to stay home. I think that's when he checked out, because at that point he was like, okay, we got 10 wins. Let's just FF the rest of the game and just get into playoffs, because they knew having 10 wins automatically got you into playoffs. That's all they need to do is get to 10 wins, and that's what they did. They got to 10 wins and just FF the rest of the games. Like, honestly,
I think they knew they were good enough to make playoffs, but I think either maybe the scrims weren't going as good as they said they were, and it kind of just played out that way on stage, because they would make constantly the same mistakes, and they would all. This is the biggest problem I have with them watching their games, is they're always giving over drags. They're always giving over dragons for free. They wouldn't even contest them. They did this last year too. I don't know why these EG rosters I've seen the last 2 years have just, I mean, ever since they've kind of been a team in an LCS, they've been doing this too, but just these last 2 years for sure, they have just constantly given over drags, constantly griefing objectives. Like the game against 100 Thieves this past week, that tiebreaker game.
Yep.
Why is it that they're ahead in the game? They're the ones not contesting Rift Herald. They're the ones losing objectives. Like, that's really bad.
And don't forget, don't forget, one of you got that beer a little quicker and got back to the base, we don't know how that game could have ended, because EG was moving a little kind of slow in that Nexus.
Even both games that were ahead against 100 Thieves, they could have won the games. Their games were very winnable.
The first game, EG, if EG was a few seconds slower, we don't know if EG loses that game, because one of the seasons could have came back and split pushed. And the second game, that was EG had the lead, and
Hunter's comp was better as the game gets long. Even if Doublelift went down 1-4 like he did, it really didn't matter. It's like that
he
comp was better.
He went down 1-4, but then JoJo would just literally would get caught. He was just his lane that was some of the most atrocious laning phases. Vulcan was just squishy, just get caught instantly.
Yeah, like 100 Thieves comp is just way better at diving the back line. Even if Doublelift is behind, it doesn't matter. Kaisa just literally ults into there with Rakan, and he just kind of just rip apart the backline itself. So that's my thing with EG. I don't know how they're going to play out in playoffs. Guys, I really don't know. You could see a point where they do a miracle run, maybe.
Yeah.
They have the players capable enough to do that, but I just don't know, honestly. It's too early to say right now, because they won't be playing until like the week after this.
Yeah, they're unpredictable.
Yeah, it's really hard to predict like where this team will really do in playoffs, because they're just too inconsistent. Like some games look really, really good for them, and other games look pretty bad. Now, do I think this team still has a high ceiling? Yeah, when it all comes together, and when that ever does happen, maybe, right? But is that really gonna be a factor? Because the because whoever wins out of what was it? Whoever wins out of, I think, C9 CLG faces EG. And are you confident that EG can win against any team that they face against? I wouldn't be, honestly. But that's just me. All right, let's go to CLG. Ah, God. I don't know if this was a good split from them or a bad split. Because there were games that looked okay from them. Yeah. And then there were games that just looked like they were just fucking sprinting it. And I think one of their biggest problems with CLG is the drafting. One of the biggest problems with CLG is their drafting. Their drafting is abysmal. The fact that they even, I mean, they clutched it for playoffs. They won all their games. They got the upset against Cloud9. They beat Team Liquid, and they won against Golden Guardian. So they won their last 3 games, and they lost the tiebreaker. So they went 3-1 on the Super Week. That's fine with the tiebreaker. That's okay. But looking at how they've lost some of their games and looking how they won some of their games, it's been, I don't know. Like, I'm not really confident in this roster at all. I think the roster's best players in Palafox and Dokla, if they're not ahead or if they're not on anything playmaking, then the team just kind of falls apart. Contracts has games where he looks pretty competent, but there's games where he just sprints it like really hard. So, What do you think about CLG?
CLG, I think they slightly overperformed, but we did slightly underestimate them. I think because they came back with the same team. In my biggest issue with CLG, they know how to beat the best teams because they know how to play to their level. But the issue is they play down too much to the teams they are better against. It's like, if you know you're better than IMT, why would you even let IMT?
He just always has this, man, where if you predict them to win, they lose, and if you predict them to lose, they win. I don't know. It's just counter logic.
Yeah, and they got like, it's like, don't live up to the name. You should not be that.
Yeah, like I don't even think we underestimated them because some of those games looked bad, really bad. But some of the games look good too. It's just they're in the same boat as CLG, EG, and Golden Guardians are all in the same boat. Like on any given day, yeah, they could probably beat the best teams. They can. We've seen it, but it's just not consistent enough to be like I for sure know they're gonna like do it. It's like no, it's like they're just too inconsistent for me to really base any like logical consistency in them when we've seen their games and it's like, ugh. All right, top 3 teams to round out today's episode before we do our predictions. Okay, 100 Thieves. Started out strong against the weakest teams, played the best teams, looked like clowns. Then after that, went on a losing streak, brought in Nuketuck to be their head coach. They went on a 7-game win streak and ended out. They ended out the split 12-18.
They lost 7 and then won 7. No, was that 8?
They started out 4-1, lost 7, and then won 7.
They
went from 8th to 3rd.
Yep, they literally 4-1. And then they went 4-8, and now they're 12. They did what 12? They're
12-18 after the tiebreakers.
12-8. Yep.
I love watching an 18-game season and a team finishing 12-8. I love it.
Yep, because of tiebreakers. Ooh,
I love it. I don't. This is the hard. I mean,
it was definitely coaching. It was definitely coaching. I think because 100 C's, I think partly was because of protect double comp. I think Closer
stepped up massively. Closer stepping up for them really stepped up
massively. They've realized you have to put tenacity on tank and tell him to take all the shots. Busio has to be on support engages that support. The thing is, too, a lot of times he was just to support. I think the thing is too, he was just most of the time just to support for Busio, for Double to support for the whole team. Once he was able to help the whole team, that also helped Double Up. He was great, and he realized, and Double realized also sometimes if I'm in a losing situation, do not drag my support into it. You always say, "Oh, my support should have came and got me." You were caught out of lane and you got 3v1. Your support can't do anything at that point. You gotta
so someone asked, I think someone had asked me in one of my videos, they're like, what do you think happened? Why there was a change? Well, guys, Nuketuck is Norwegian. I'm pretty sure he's Norwegian. European people, when they want something and they dislike something, they'll be very blunt in what they want. And I think that's the mentality he brought to them. And I think I'm theorizing this would happen. They had a bad day in scrims. The team was already kind of in shambles when he came into it. He was probably sitting there going like, "Hey, you guys need to just literally tell each other what you wanted of each other and just do that." You know, that's what Cole just said. They're a lot harder on each other. They're trying to ask each other what they want to do in the game. Because before Nukta came in, you had those voice com videos like Coulter's begging his team to just literally do anything. He's begging, guys, come on, what are we doing here? After Nukta came in, I don't know what Nukta did for them or what he was trying to set them up to do or what the other assistant head coach guy
done. He told them to do instead of putting.
I know he forced them probably to be like, hey, just be very blunt. What do you want out of this guy? And what do you need him to do in the game?
Instead of making a decision on the player, he took him in a decision. Like, okay, this is what you need to do, guys. What can you do in yourself to make it better? Because you can't determine. You can't put.
And like, I don't even think some of these guys had outstanding splits to begin with. I still think even in the final weeks of games, even though they won them, there was still some very, very questionable decisions you guys making. But I'll say, like, Tenacity, they realized, wait a minute, Tenacity, no more carries for you. You just playing Sion, Orin, and fucking Cassante.
No, play tanks, and then you take all the damage. And then what it is, the teams have to focus on you because you're front line. You're front line, you front line, you take all the shots. You definitely on a game. Because if they don't ban Sion the first three champions, Sion's getting picked third. Mm-hmm. Nope. If you don't ban Sion or Cassante or Orin or what's that one game? There was one game. There was another champion, but it was like you take one of those three. Closer realize, okay, closer. You got to be more aggressive. You can't.
He just has to take over the game. Like he realized, wait a minute, if I don't take over the game, we're gonna be doing this scaling. Give all the objectives up, lose style, and that's just not gonna work.
Yeah, no, you can't. It's like
the moment he started playing like he did last year is the moment they started winning all their games. He literally went, "I'm just gonna be the carry." He probably told Double F, "Fuck off, I'm just gonna play carry."
Because this is technically Closer's team because Closer has been here the longest. Like,
yeah, the thing here is that maybe they were thinking, okay, maybe my jungler shouldn't be the carry, and it's like, why should he not though? I don't know if people think that. It's like, why can't your jungler not be the carry though? They literally are the jungler position is super dictating on how the pace of the game is played. If your jungler plays like Xerxes, your team will look like shit. If your team plays like Closer, your team will probably look pretty somewhat.
If your jungler plays like Xerxes, the coach needs to be fired. The jungler needs to be fired. Someone else might need to be fired. And whoever decided to hire Xerxes needs to be fired. No, don't play.
Now the thing here with Closer is his best champions are Viego and Lee Sin, and like drafting, you cannot give him those.
And Wukong,
that's pretty good at Wukong too. Yeah,
Wukong
like that's the thing.
Is one of those picks where it's like, okay, what
his Wukong gameplay where he was getting into the backline with his ult, constantly trying to displace people. He was playing really well. Like after they started their win streak, Closer was their MVP. Fucking Bjergsen. He was doing his best to run it. That guy was playing bad. Bjergsen was playing legitimately bad. Doublelift played better.
No, I think he played fine. Bjergsen was playing. There were some games he was running, but there were some games he was.
Those Annie games, he should not be playing Annie.
He's not. Okay, you know what it is? It literally comes down to what Closer picks. If Closer does not pick Lee Sin, Viego, or Wukong, Annie should automatically just come off.
Is it weird that I think maybe Bjergsen's their weakest player? Probably.
No, because he was their weakest player for about. Okay.
I would say the only picks he has strengths on is Azir and Talia. If he's not on those champions, he just looks meh.
And Zillion, but Zillion has to be.
They don't ever give him that. The problem is they don't even ban it anymore. They know it's nerfed, and he's not going to pick it either.
Yeah, that's why. But like when it was good at one patch, it was good. Azir and
Talia. If living on Talia, he looks like a completely different player. I'm like, okay, he's trying to play the game now.
And the thing is, too, a lot of times they because most teams, the reason why I want to see is win a lot of times because it comes down to drafting. Most teams want to ban for double lift. And then they're like, all right, cool.
And then you have teams that get ahead against them, and then they don't know how to close out, or they don't play out their early game to mid game properly. And that gives Hunter's a scaling comp a chance to just scale up with the game. Because if you give Jinx and Zeri 3 items, you might as well just F with the game right there. Because I'm not playing that shit. I'm going to make that motherfucker in that room. You get on stage and you play against that shit. Because I'm not doing that.
If you let Sion, Viego, and Jinx or Zeri gets 3 items. At that point, I'm like, okay, guys, let's just run it every team fight and let's see if we catch you guys off guard.
Like, do
And
I think Busio had a good split? Not really. Do I think
no,
Tenacity? Not really. I think most guys had a great split.
I think Busio got better this split. To me, it literally comes down to what I think Busio's champion comes down to what everybody else's champion is.
I think he looked good this week on Renata and Rakan.
The Rakan, he was good. The Rakan games, he wasn't bad. Like the first out of split, he was just too passive. He was just getting.
I think he was willing. Yeah, that's the best way to explain it. It's like he was just being a little too passive, not really trying to be the guy. Like if you play Rakan, guys, you need to be the guy to be like, okay, I'm doing this right now. You follow up, or I'm gonna fucking punch you in the face, kind of thing. And you saw that in the final weeks, and when he played Ronaldo, I was like, oh, okay. Like he has a few good champions he stands out on. Now the thing with 100 Thieves is I don't know how this is gonna play out in playoffs because this is what do they have? Because like we'll talk about Cloud9 and FlyQuest now because we're gonna talk about the top 3 teams. Yeah. So the playoff match coming up is FlyQuest versus 100 Thieves. We got to preview that. That's our first playoff games. Gonna happen on Thursday. Second place third. Now, people are going to be like, shouldn't FlyQuest win this? If you ask me that in week 4, yeah, they should probably win 3-0. Now, that's not the same.
I was even thinking week 4 they win 3-0. I think they probably win 3-1. Like, because FlyQuest, when FlyQuest gets, like, figure out.
Because here's the thing, is people would say that FlyQuest, should they be favored in this match? I don't know.
Can't be honest. If they had Winsome, I think they're still favored, but I think if they had Winsome, it's 3-0. If it's Ayla,
I will say this.
I say it's 3-2 with
Golden
Ayla.
Guardians should shit their pants on whoever they face out of this. Because Golden Guardians gets to face if they lose FlyQuest or 100 Thieves. And I would shit my pants.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Because Golden Guardians faces the loser of this match. Now, 100 Thieves has the momentum going into.
I don't have Golden Guardians beating either team no matter what. Like
right. So my thing here is coming up Thursday. 100 Thieves has momentum.
Golden Guardians is better off going against FlyQuest, in my opinion.
And then they'll get ass fucked again.
Oh no, Golden Guardians is going 1-0 in the playoffs. They literally had a chance to be third, and they went oopsie.
We'll just go 0-3. It's the same 3, right? It's just a bit different.
It's a 3, but depending on where you put it at.
They were training in Golden Guardians were training in the opposite direction.
Yep.
Yeah. So, like I mentioned before, 100 Thieves have the momentum going in. FlyQuest have what you would say. Okay, the thing with FlyQuest is they're not even a bad team though.
They're not a bad team, but
even from the Super Week, you're like, okay, that's still not a bad team. But with Ayla, things just don't look as cohesive.
It don't fit. I think because they have more time with them, they're looking at
they like playing with Winsome more. I think Ayla is just not a person they like playing with.
I think they have more time with Winsome. They develop more with Winsome. They have fun playing with Winsome. And Winsome seemed like a fun guy. It was just one of those things where it's like, what culture shift happened since Ayla get there? Because they're
remember, Spica said they were doing well on the stage, but Spica did say their scrims weren't all.
Oh, they Team Liquid said at one point they 3-0'd freaking 3-0'd. Yeah, 3-0'd. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Team Liquid. Yeah, they said they 3-0'd FlyQuest at one point. I'm like, what?
Yeah, Spica admitted their scrims weren't. The stage results were not reflective of what their scrim results were.
Because they said that there's games where FlyQuest would just they come in, they get to 15 minutes, they get to 20 minutes. The minute that they lost Baron, it was done. All right, cool. Next game. Give us 5 minutes, get some water, get an apple.
Now this is the thing. That Vikla Ari game, like Vikla has this thing where if he's on certain picks, he'll perform very well. If he's on like more of the scaling, no mobility mid lane champions, he doesn't really look as good.
He can't scale well. His scaling is horrendous.
Who we got, man? 100 Thieves in 3, or they lose in 2.
Oh, it's best of 3, right?
Best of 5.
Best of 5.
This is like
I say this goes 5 games. I'm a 100 Thieves fan. I'll be objective. I think FlyQuest wins this at 5, but I would not be surprised if this is going 5 games in my opinion.
This is for sure. I think going 5 games, or it's gonna be one of those series where it'll be like 3-1, but it'll be like really, really close.
It'll be a tough 3-1 where like a team fight at toward the end is what costs them the game.
The problem is here is I kind of want to say 100 Thieves wins this.
I want to say 2, but I think FlyQuest,
given the momentum this team had toward the end of the Super Week, it's like they should kind of be favored.
They should be.
Plus, FlyQuest has looked suspect in some other games. They had that really sloppy game against Golden Guardians too. I want to say FlyQuest too, but it's like I'm not confident in that.
I'm not part of me wants to say 100 season. To me, the only thing I can say this is going 5. I'm gonna say 100.
I'll say Fly win 3-2, but this is gonna be very, very close.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna say.
Oh, to be fair, this might just be a stomp. I think whoever wins first game might just stomp the rest of the games out. Honestly,
okay, this is how it is. If this is one of those where the team gets up 2-0, it's GG. It's 3-0.
This is my thing. FlyQuest did beat 100 Thieves both times during the split, but the thing here is Closer is playing much better now than he was weeks ago.
Yeah.
Closer to speak of, that's a fucking pretty big gap right there.
Yep.
So I'll say FlyQuest win 3-2. But if 100 Thieves do win, I'm not surprised either.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I'm going to go FlyQuest 3-2. Mainly because I just believe FlyQuest has more weapons on their side with the champion picks. But I would not be surprised if 100 Thieves pulls this out.
All right. And the last team to go over that we didn't go over is Cloud9. To be fair, I had the finishing top 2. I did.
I had them
first
fourth.
Place. First place was like, oh, okay, that's better.
I had them 4th, and the reason no, because to me this is when they had Diplex. I had seeing what Diplex was doing. I was like, was it in the academy? I saw some of his games. I was like, because I saw some of his games in the academy. I was like, okay, all right. You picked this over Justin. Okay. All right. Okay. Cool. And then because of money. I'm like, okay, I understand.
And then they brought over a Menace, and it's like, wait a minute. So and everyone's like, but a Menace is better than Diplex. Why is he starting over it? Well, we got to make sure that a Menace isn't toxic, and we got to make sure he does his academy duties first. Like, okay. So once a Menace cleared all of the criteria that Cloud9 wanted, they just played a Menace over Diplex. Now, I want to say about Diplex, he actually played okay. He wasn't a liability in a lot of games.
He wasn't a liability, but he
just wasn't an X factor. And to be on Cloud9,
X factor
an X factor.
Plus, also, he was the reason why. Like sometimes there were some games that were a lot closer than they should have.
Yeah, and I think the synergy with the Menace and Blabber is much better than the synergy with Diplex and Blabber. Because the 2v2s that Diplex and Blabber took, those are the 2v2s that cost them the games that they actually lost. Yeah. Now, I think Fudge had an outstanding split. Yeah, he played good from start to finish. I think Blabber, questionable games here and there, but overall pretty solid. I think
Blabber was more consistent overall because Fudge always played excellent, but was never like, wow, it was like, good job, Fudge, and then pat on the back. Because it was like,
I think the games that I was not on Blabber there were games where, I hope he doesn't have this in the playoffs, where the enemy jungler is doing something and he could easily do something to counteract it and get an advantage. Because when you're playing jungle, you need to do something while your other jungler is doing something too. Because if you don't do anything, then they just get the advantage. I hope this doesn't happen because he hasn't had that happen for a couple of some weeks now. Like, that's the only issue that I have. Other than that, I think Blabber played. I think MVP is going to someone on Cloud9 anyway, so it doesn't really matter. I think maybe Prince still gets it based off of the early season.
I think Prince gets it because of the first half of the split, but I won't be surprised if it's Blabber.
The only person on C9 not probably getting it is Sven. I think you can make a case for. Well, sorry, Sven and a Menace.
A Menace definitely won't because he wasn't there long enough.
Yeah,
I think Berserker maybe, but Berserker's outside
well. I think Berserker played well throughout the entire. Just like Fudge, they had no bad games at all.
Berserker's the outside chance because they're not.
Like, if you ask me, because we're doing this right now, if you ask me who would I choose as MVP, after thinking about it for a couple of days, I was just going to settle on Berserker. I think he looked good in every game.
I think he
always had a CS lead. Team fought very well. He always had an advantage. He never, even when he died in Lambert's Ven, he always would counteract, kill the enemy 2v2, take turret plates, roam. He would know when to solo kill, when to put on enough damage. I think he played well. I remember, I don't have a game in my head. This split in general, he ran it down.
No, there was never a game he ran it down.
He played exceptional every game.
The only game he ran it down was that last game versus
that CLG one, yeah. But then he was like, okay, I'll just play Draven, and I'll just convince you guys otherwise.
but I'm not gonna lie. At that point, the whole team was running it down.
To be fair, I don't think that game was all on him either. But
no, that game was literally okay. Let's tie break and beat Fly. No, that's what it was. It was literally.
I think they drafted shitty, not thinking that CLG would have punished them for their shitty draft.
I think that too. Plus, I think they were already thinking about a tiebreaker with FlyQuest. I think deep down in their minds, they wanted, because they knew FlyQuest was going to beat
Golden Guardians.
Golden Guardians. I think they knew FlyQuest was going to beat Golden Guardians. I think at that point they were like, you know what? Let's just play whatever. If we win, we win. We're above FlyQuest. But if we lose, we got to play FlyQuest to just beat them again. I think in their mind, because the way you see how they're playing, and
maybe because like this happens too. Like I think people have mentioned before, like on any given day, any team could beat any team if you catch someone off guard.
And that's CLG be the team that beats Cloud9 but then lose to IMT. I don't understand CLG. I do not understand it.
I'm still trying to figure out after all these years. This is the same thing I've been questioning for years.
It's like, don't live up to your name. I know you're counter logic, but please do. It's like Jesus Christ, don't.
So when they brought in a Menace had 2 bad games. He had the bad game on Victor when he first came in, and people said, "Oh, well, give him a pass for that." All right, cool. Even though you really shouldn't be doing that and for any player, sure. He had the bad Victor game. Every game after that was pretty good from him, except for this week when he played CLG. Jace, when he played against CLG, and when he played Jace against FlyQuest. Other than that, he was pretty much the upgrade that they wanted to have, and that's for the most part he came out fine. I think he played good. My thing here with him is it's not really him that'll play bad. It's the fact that if they give him a champion he just isn't good at, he's just gonna look like shit. And that does cause draft problems. But if he just can't play that champion as well as his other champions, you just can't give it to him. Because that's going to be a loss either way. But people said, well, isn't that going to cause draft problems? I'd rather have draft problems than put a guy on a champion he can't play very well, which would inherently just put you at a disadvantage in general, Yep. I'll take the lesser of 2 evils. I'll take him being on. I'll take my draft problems. We can band-aid it somewhere else, Because if you put him on something he's not good at or not as good as the other champions, you're going to lose the game. Like, to be fair, if Berserker wasn't on Draven, there's a good chance he might have lost that game too. But, that's with Cloud9. If I had to choose my MVP for the split, I would go with Berserker. Stand out, played amazing every single game. Dude looked fantastic. Most people probably don't give it to ADCs. Then again, you're going to give it to Prince. I think Berserker was arguably just as good as him, if not better.
I'll probably go with Prince because that first half, it was me. I go... It's pretty to me the top 3.
Even if people didn't choose Prince, you would still be choosing an ADC.
Yeah,
I wish FBI played as well throughout the entire split.
I think FBI towards the tail end fell off. I think to me it goes Prince, Blackbird, Berserker. I think those are 2 of the top 3.
Yeah, mine would go between Berserker, Fudge, and Prince. Now the thing with Prince is I think. I wouldn't, because even in the games that they lost, he was average. He only really had like 1 bad game. It was that EG game against Garen where he flashed in on Aphelios and did that stupid shit. Other than that, he's not the player that looked bad the whole split. Even in their losses, he was still like pretty competent. The problem here is, well, he's playing with a support that he just doesn't synergize very well with.
Yeah.
So that's it with Cloud9. I think they had a fantastic split. I had them second. They got first. Okay.
I had them fourth and fifth. But yeah, to me, most because of Duplex. I think once Duplex got removed, I was like, okay, yep, this team's gonna be a lot better.
So yeah, if they managed to win the spring split or get to the finals, they would get to go to MSI anyway. So at least that's there. They play against CLG for their first playoff match, I think that's going to be a 3-1.
It's 3-1. Yeah, I say 3-1. I think CLG takes one.
Maybe I'm being generous with that one game, but I think
I don't think they're going to be generous. I think CLG is going to. I think this is going to be one of those where CLG catches them off guard for game one, and then the rest of it's like how T1 be like how T1 is sometimes where okay. We're trying out some new stuff, and then game 2 is like, all right, cool. And then CLG is like sweating. And game 3 is like, oh shit. And then game 4 is this time. I think if this is a 3-1,
this is not the same C9 versus CLG that it was last summer split. This is a way better team now.
Yeah.
This is a team that basically gives them an advantage. You're just fucking screwed.
You got a Fudge that's cockier. You got a Zen that's cockier. You got a Berserker that's a lot better. You got a
all of them are playing better than they were last year.
And then now you got a middle laner that
actually is gonna do something in the game. Get a lane advantage. Move with the jungler. It's kind of what he needs to do. I think people say, but they faced up against last split and it was close. Yeah, last split was close because they weren't as good last split together. Plus, they just got Jensen back too. Now they've had a full year with this team essentially outside of a menace. Fudge is playing a lot better than he was last year, top lane. Blabber is going to be as good as he's in playoffs as he could be hit or miss in playoffs too, but, I hope this playoffs he's going to be pretty hit. And yeah, so who'd be my dark horse to win this split outside of Cloud9? I really don't know, honestly. Who would be the second place team to go with Cloud9 to MSI, though? That'd be the case. I think it's a toss between FlyQuest and 100 Thieves, honestly.
Yeah, I think whoever makes it out.
God, Beerus in the double if at international events. Holy shit.
Yep, that'll be fun. Or
a disaster.
Yeah.
Realistically, I would want it to be C9 and FlyQuest, but if I don't know. I really don't know, honestly. I guess I'll see how the playoffs will play out.
Oh, what you do? You guys speak of do Maokai and they just do that shit again.
I think FlyQuest should bring back win some. Yeah, for sure.
And I can understand why Vulcan. Vulcan was his buddy and all. I think, and I remember, I was like, he wasn't wrong. I think it was the way he messaged it. To me, I'm never for one to, unless it's not working. And if FlyQuest would have started 4 or 5, then I'm like, okay, bring in Ayla. But they were 8-1. Should have been 9-0, but don't talk about that one game. They were 8-1 and they swap them out, and then they go what 6-4. No, sorry, 6-4. No, because they played 10 games. Yeah, it went 6-4. Yep. It was like
they're 7-6 with Winsome. Not Winsome. 7-6 with Ayla.
Wait a second. Okay. When did Winsome? No. When did Ayla come in? Didn't Ayla come in? At the beginning of the week, right?
Ayla came in after the first round robin, the first week after their first 4 weeks.
Okay, that's me. Yeah, no, that's me. Winsome was 8-1.
Yeah,
and then
they basically are about sub 500 record.
Ayla is 6-4.
Yeah, 6-4, something like that. Something like that.
6-4. Yeah, they were 6-4.
Unless you're counting that tiebreaker game, then
tiebreaker. Yeah, it's
okay.
6-4. Yep. But they said that scrims got a lot worse. I'm like, shit. They said the scrims with Winston were a lot better, even though they were tough. But they said the one with Ayla, it just took forever.
But this is the problems. That's why I said that we had problems coming into the split. Is I knew Prince would be good. He wasn't going to be my issue. Spica and Impact synergy is dog shit.
Oh my, dog shit ain't the word. It's damn near non-existent.
That's Razor humanoid levels right there.
And no, it ain't that bad. At least freaking at least speaking Impact are winning them. We'll get to those teams on Tuesday, hopefully.
Vikla, yeah. I think
he regressed. He
started out strong. Regressed a little bit, but it's not regressing in so bad. It's just he's going to be a super detriment to his team. I think if Vikla has a lead against Bjergsen, he'll just wipe the floor with him. Yeah. That's the biggest problem in going to the series is Bjergsen might be their biggest liability against Vikla. If Vikla plays somewhat good, like he has been, I don't know. I think 100 Thieves' best shot at winning most games is getting closer at least on a carry jungler, getting early game leads, and playing through double lift. Or closer gets the massive early game lead that he just carries the game by himself. Because I don't think they're going to be getting a lead through Bjergsen. I just don't think that's going to be possible. Unless Bjergsen has a really, really standout playoff series, and I guess. And this girl's ass is juicy.
You stupid.
All right. Let me put down this last thing for an entertainment news video. And then we're going to be done. So, yeah, man. Anything else you want to say before I out? Yes, guys. I'll have my weekly recap for the people who don't like watching live streams or can't watch live. Is there anything else you want to say about the split in general before playoffs or regular season?
Congrats to one of the C's for getting third place, making that turnaround. To Liquid's a disappointment. Please get Jetson onto a better team. Immortals, you're trash. Other than that, everything else is okay. Cloud9 winning regular season, not surprised. I'm glad they went with the menace over Diplex. I think Diplex never fit the team. That's pretty much it. And EG, please. I don't know what's going on with Jojo Peon, but y'all guys need to have a talk to him. He needs to stop running it down. I'm sorry. That's it. Yep.
Like, that's the thing with JoJo the split is he had standout startings in games, and then this guy will start out like 5-1 on Silas and end up 5-6. You're like, wait, what? How does that make sense?
They don't.
And he's the one, and this is also what his team is ahead as well. It's not when he's playing like, it's not him with a team where he's struggling, you know? Yeah, that's pretty much it. Overall, did I enjoy what do you think about the broadcast or anything like that? The broadcast was fun to split, actually.
It was fun to a certain degree. There was never a point where I was like, oh my god, this is horrible. But like, yeah, I didn't hate it. I didn't like. It was like, all right, cool, this is cool. And then I just, moved on like usual.
Also, I'm saying this as well. The Tigers' shoutcasting is dog shit.
It is dog shit, but like, it is one of those things. You're like, okay, like I'm not gonna lie. Half the time, I just had it on mute. That's why I literally.
Yeah, my thing here is I think the broadcast got a lot better. I still don't agree with the dash decision because I don't think their new style could not have included dash either. It's like you look back on their decision, like, yeah, because that guy said in Travis' video, we're still gonna include dash. No, they fucking capping out their ass. They were gonna include him. They literally fired him. They didn't include this guy in nothing. He got a chance to be in one of their skydiving LCS videos with the players. Man, this girl's booty hole is just popping fucking great. I mean, fuck. Like, that's the thing. Like, their new LCS format and style, how does this not work with dash though? I just don't understand it. It's just, okay. Just why did they just go? Yeah, we just wanted to change on our broadcast. We just wanted to change the broadcast. That's all I'd like to say. They brought in more people. They brought in like the Academy casters finally. You know, yeah. It's like, bro, what do you? Okay, the LCS and their shitty decisions. I'm just not surprised anymore. Good lord. Man, her body is just, tits are hanging out nice.
Yeah, he's stupid.
God damn. What is Caitlyn doing? What is Caitlyn doing? She's looking still fly in some of these pictures. Damn, I would motorboat her tits. Oh, great.
Oh, shit. All right.
Do you think her butthole tastes good, too?
Thank you for watching, everybody.
Oh, yes. Thank you guys for watching. Sorry we didn't have an LEC show last Wednesday. I was really busy. But this week we will have another one. Damn, she's writing this pretty good. Whoa. It's crazy how people know she has a boyfriend yet still just give her a ton of money.
Oh, you talking about Kayla?
No. Another girl. This girl definitely. She said she was writing her fucking man on OnlyFans.
Oh shit!
Damn, her tits are just insanely good. Man, you need to let me just sniff your butt for like 5 seconds. What? Why is Brat Nasty thinking that she can be in that same position again? Amaranth, miss me. I don't know. You still sucking off that gravy, dude? Her mouth's gonna be fucking gravy flavored.
Yeah, white gravy.
Oh shit! Hot, fresh, hot cock breath. Talking to this lady.
Yep. Got young gravy in her mouth.
Yeah, I had a girl squirt almost in my mouth. I had to dodge that shit.
Shit.
All right, guys. We will see you on Tuesday this weekend.